And welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. We're talking some more football in this segment, and it's that time of the year as we go into the summer and those big summer camps at the University of Redlands. Now, this is designed for high school football players who are trying to get some great exposure from some of the top college programs in the country, especially the Pac-12. We're talking UCLA, Arizona State, Oregon State, Washington. I could go on and on. Boise State, even Michigan's going to be in town at the U of R to check out some of the top high school football players from San Bernardino and beyond in our neighboring communities as well. It is great exposure for some of the top high school football players to maybe even get a scholarship offer right there on the spot at the U of R. It's a golden opportunity for high school football players in our area. We had a chance to talk to Bulldogs head coach Jim Good and associate head coach Joey Mariani to talk more about the camps coming up this month, the month of June at the U of R.
I don't think it says a little bit about the University of Redlands and our football staff. Our staff does a great job putting these on. But I think it says a lot about the local community and the quality of football players, quality high school coaching that goes on in this local area. I won't mention the coach's name, Coach Mariani, but he says you can swing a dead cat and hit some ballers, within a couple miles of campus. I mean, there is some great football in this local area, and these guys, they come and they want to see it. And what's hard to keep track at times is the guys who coach maybe at I'll just say Sac State, and then all of a sudden they end up at maybe Wazoo, and then they go from Wazoo to somewhere else. And so it's hard to keep these guys straight. A lot of these guys will say, oh yeah, I've been to our camps, but it was clear back when I was at University of X. And we've had really great luck with Washington. It's a new staff at Washington, so it'll be fun to see how that goes. The Oregon State staff is probably maybe the most loyal staff. Jonathan Smith came when he was a coordinator at Washington, when Chris Peterson was at Washington. Brian Lindgren was actually a graduate assistant here at Redlands way back before I was here, maybe before Coach Mariani. He's the one that really kind of got this thing going with Colorado when he was the offensive coordinator at Colorado. And he's been real loyal to us. Now, of course, he comes when Oregon State comes. So it's been really fun to get to know a lot of guys at a lot of different levels.
Well, Coach, let me jump over to Coach Mariani, the defensive coordinator as well. And Coach, I'm seeing you pop up on social media a lot right now because you're recruiting the IE real hard right now. Is this an important time of the year for U of R football?
It always is. We always want to get out to the local schools, the 951 and 909 area codes. That's kind of where I'm hitting most of the time. That's where I grew up, was in the 909. So my heart, my loyalty is out to the Inland Empire type guys, coaches and programs. I think that's why everybody comes to our camps too, because everybody in the country understands the talent level from Anaheim to Central California to, we have people from Hawaii flying in for our camps. We have people coming from all over the place to come to our camp because it's a central location for everybody to come in and get looked at without having to spend a lot of money maybe to go to see a campus. And I think it's a really good deal for everybody involved. But yeah, I went to so many showcases this last 10 days in the Inland Empire, which are absolutely fantastic, man. Our local coaches do absolutely a phenomenal job of coaching and putting those programs together. It's definitely a treat to be out there.
Coach, I think we've talked about this before, the fact that, obviously these kids are coming out and they're getting great exposure by, teams like Colorado and Oregon State, and I could go on and on, some big-time Division I programs. But I got the feeling there's some Bulldogs out there, too. Is this a good way for you guys to maybe see some of that local talent, have everyone come to, to the runner and work out? And I think it's like a win-win for everybody.
I think it really is. We get a lot of, we sign a lot of guys from our camps every year that we're here, from into the University of Redlands program. It's a great opportunity for them to come to see our field, to get coached by our staffs, kind of get the vibe of the campus. A lot of people will drive around our campus on that day just to get a good look at it. We get guys that come to our camps and maybe go to a different school and then maybe leave that school and come back because they remember what it is, our camp. Scott Tinsley, our strong safety guy who was at APU, the reason why he called us, because his very first camp experience was at the University of Redlands. And so he always remembered that and loved our staff. And, so it's a great way for everybody, for us to look at kids, for us to get to know guys. And also for, guys coming back to the IE, they get a really good look at the University of Redlands as well.
Coach, having all these big time programs come to the U of R, to check out, some of our top high school football players, you can't really get that anywhere else, that kind of exposure. I know a lot of these kids, they'll visit different campuses throughout the summer, but dude, that's a lot of legwork, man. That's expensive. You're flying places, you're traveling, it's time consuming. Man, you could go to the U of R and work out for like 10, 20 different college football programs in the course of a couple nights.
Yeah, and that's why the camps really were created. It's hard for players to get out and to be seen. I mean, the example of trying to fly up to Washington State, you would fly into Spokane, you'd have to rent a car, drive a ways to get to their campus, and then work out in front of their staff. And the nice thing is now their staff can come down here and work out and see guys work out that are from here. And like you said, there's so many schools that these guys can be watched and seen by. And we've got a ton of stories of guys that will come in, they'll work out. Maybe an assistant coach from a Division I school will come up to one of us and say, hey, where's Coach so-and-so? I got to show our head coach this kid. I'm so impressed with them. And then kid walks out here with a scholarship. There was the little running back. I think he actually is in the NFL now. He was a Centennial running back. Taylor, I think it was his last name.
Oh, yeah, J.J. Taylor.
Yeah, and I remember him just at the beginning, back when we did the camps, 5 years ago, 6 years ago when that was, we did a circuit at the beginning. And within the first two stations of that circuit, the running back coach came up to me from Colorado and said, hey, where's Coach Mack? And Coach McIntyre is their head coach at the time. I got to show him this guy. This guy's unbelievable. And I think the Taylor kid was injured his junior year, so he didn't have any film. And Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, offered him on the spot. He ended up going to Arizona, but that's basically where he was found. And there's a ton of stories like that. The number of quarterbacks that have thrown at this camp are unbelievable. It's really kind of fun to see them as freshmen. They throw, as freshmen, they get offers then, or maybe as sophomore, then you end up seeing them Saturday nights on, major college football.
But I also think our camp is also for the kid that just wants to get better. I mean, for $60, you come out here and get world-class coaching on a bunch of different techniques, a lot of guys aren't going to get that Division I scholarship offer and things like that. And I think they get that, but a lot of guys are out here just to get better. And I think one of the main reasons why I think our camp is so popular too with everybody is the fact that our guys come out and they get work for an hour and a half, come out there and they work their butts off, get a really good coaching, maybe pick up a few pointers as well to take back to their high school teams as well. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's a good precursor to get ready for the fall season. I know, they do some 7-on-7 stuff with these high school teams, but it's a good way to get some exposure, go up against some great competition as well, to kind of get the juices flowing for the upcoming season. Before I go back to Coach Good, Coach Mariani, how's the defense looking this year? Are you excited about what the U of R is going to be doing on the defensive side of the football this year?
I think we're going to be young this year up front a little bit. We graduated some guys last year in our front six. I think our back half is really, really solid. I'm looking for, expectations are high as usual. But I think we got a great group of young people coming in. I think we have a great group of leaders coming back. I'm definitely excited for fall camp to see how this is going to come together and see about the evaluations of the young guys coming in. And I think we did a really good job recruiting this year and on the defensive side and on the offensive side as well. But I'm really excited. I really am. I think it's a great opportunity for guys to come in and see the field immediately in some positions here in our front six especially.
And for you, Coach Good, I mean, coming off a conference championship, what's the expectations this year?
Gosh, I'm more worried just about, our report date on August 10th and game one. And that's about as far as I really look. We don't look too far out in the future. We want to attack today and do great, just today, worry about the short term, and the long term will take care of itself. And, just to kind of dovetail with Coach Mariani, what he said about the front, boy, we're going to have a lot of great competition at a lot of different positions. And that's probably what I look forward to more than anything else this season is the competition that we have at quarterback, on the D-line, on the offensive line, and even in the backfield. It's going to be fun. It's going to definitely be a fun preseason.
All right, finally, Coach, if there's high school football players watching this show, and we usually do have a pretty good, strong, high school football audience, where can these guys still sign up to maybe go to one of these camps coming up in the next couple of weeks at the U of R?
Well, that's a great question. The skills section of the camps are full. So we try to put a cap on it just from the standpoint, I think if we had everybody come out that wanted to come out, I don't know if the camp experience would be the quality that we want it to have. We want guys to get reps. Coach Mariani mentioned about getting better, and that's what we want is guys that have opportunities to get reps, be seen, get an opportunity to get coached and get better. And if we had 400 or 500 kids at a skills session, that probably wouldn't happen. The positive is the O-line, D-line, we've got space. And the O-line, D-line, I got to be honest with you, I think there's a ton of great coaching that goes on in that session with our offensive line coaches and defensive line coaches and the staffs from other places. So if they want to register, they can get online. IE Football Camps is our website. If you don't want to go that route, you can go follow Coach Mariani or myself on Twitter, and that's pretty much how we will definitely get that information out online.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Weekly on IEMG, and make sure you subscribe to the IE Media Group YouTube channel. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we will see you next time on Sports Weekly on IEMG.